obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
This lemon sucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talking Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Zone.
What is up, Nomies? I'm Alex.
And I'm Talkie Tyler. I'm going to kill you.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome Podcast, episode 50, Tyler.
A very special episode, 50 indeed. We got one of the all-time greatest episodes.
If it wasn't abundantly clear, what episode are we going to be discussing this week?
This week we are discussing Living Doll.
Season 5, Episode 6, the original air date, November 1st, 1963. This was directed by Richard C. Serafian and written by Charles Beaumont. All right, Tyler, we'll jump right into it on this one here. What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment came at the very end when Annabelle comes down the stairs and then she picks up Talkie Tina. And Talking Tina talks to her, and we get her line, "You better be nice to me." I liked that. I liked that it all just wasn't in Eric's head, that the doll actually was evil, and even seems evil towards Annabelle, which, what did Annabelle do?
I think it's more of like an idle threat of, I'm here.
Yep, yeah.
I guess there's one moment, but something I really enjoyed about this was the score. The music was awesome.
It was really good. They did a great job on the score.
Did it remind you of anything?
It just seemed eerie in general. Maybe like 70 slashers like Halloween or Friday the 13th kind of.
It reminded me of Labyrinth a lot. The music was very Labyrinth-like.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
But my favorite moment actually came pretty quick in the beginning when Eric's just like, "How much did it cost?" She's like, and Annabelle just goes, "I charged it on the account," as if it so money doesn't mean anything if you charge on the account.
That part I was completely on Eric's side. I was like, what the hell is she spouting off about? Like, how much did it cost?
On the account.
Because it's on the account, we don't have to pay for it, right? No, that's not how that works.
I think a lot of people get into credit card debt because they actually believe it's like fucking free money. Like, no, you have to pay that back with interest.
I can't believe anyone would be that stupid to think, oh, well, this is just free. I get it for free, right? Like, obviously, you gotta pay stuff back.
There are definitely people who definitely think that it's free.
But yeah, that line right there, I was like, I know Eric's supposed to be the bad guy in this, but this one topic, I am on his side.
And I found, obviously, when you're a kid, you find him to be a dick, but when it comes, if she goes out every day and is just blowing money and he's working, and I can kind of see how he snapped.
Yeah.
We have the technology to rebuild it.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI Serling.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro, and this one's pretty decent. You ready for this one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Portrait of a man named Eric Strader, a man who considers himself the master of his own domain, the ruler of a house he never truly made his own. He wears his bitterness like a second skin, his resentment like a badge of honor, aimed at a wife he barely loves and a stepdaughter he refuses to accept. But Eric is about to learn that some homes have a way of choosing their true masters, and some voices, no matter how small, refuse to be silenced. Tonight, Eric Strader will have a conversation he never expected with a doll named Talkie Tina, and before the night is through, he'll discover that in the Twilight Zone, some words carry a weight far heavier than he could ever imagine.
That was really good. That was a good one, serious one. I was expecting something kind of funny to be thrown in there, like, but Eric is shooting blanks.
Hey, we can get into that a little bit later, I guess. Every week, Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other, keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. I came up with 3. It was very hard because I actually was just watching the episode so much.
Yeah, this one was a hard one. There wasn't a whole lot of like things to pull questions from, but I also managed to make 3.
There's surprisingly a lot of dialogue too, because like I felt like I never had a spare moment when I wasn't taking notes my second time. Like, oh shit, because like usually there's like long breaks of silence, maybe like 20 seconds or so while they're doing something, but it rarely happens in this episode.
Yeah, definitely dialogue heavy.
All right, so you got 3 as well?
Yep.
It is even, so
you
I
go
will
first.
go. All right. Where did Annabelle buy Tina?
Masons, this was one of my questions.
Correct.
How many boxes is Annabelle holding in the opening scene?
3.
5.
Damn it. How many blocks does Eric put on the lid of the trash can?
3.
Yeah.
What is Christy's friend's name?
Linda.
Yeah.
What is on the picture above Christy's bed?
A unicorn?
Rabbits.
Uh-huh.
All right. All right, I guess we'll jump right into the plot of this one. We open up on a mom and a daughter arriving home from the store.
And this exterior shot, is this from the parallel? It looked just like it. Also looked a lot like the...
Monsters Are Doing Maple Street. I would imagine
I was
it's
going to
the
say
same-
Mute.
Same lot. I'm sure they used many, many times.
Yeah.
Probably for, was it Icing the Body Electric? They used any of those exterior shots of like a suburban town.
Yeah, but this house definitely looked like both the one from Mute and the one from the parallel.
Right. So as they're getting out of the vehicle, Annabelle already starts in on with the kid. Just run upstairs. Don't show Dad this.
Like, we're going to hide the fact that I just bought you a gift, even though we had explicitly had a conversation earlier that if we said we weren't going to buy you any gifts extra.
They go inside, and Eric is sitting right inside. I don't know if he's like going over their finances or something at the
It did
desk.
look like he was going over finances or something, and then it's funny that they walk in and be like, oh, no, we just spent more money today.
He's like, what you got there, Christy? She's like, oh, it's just a doll. Look, she's alive, Daddy. And he was like, how much? And then I put it on the account, as if money means nothing.
And yeah, at no point does she even say how much she actually spent on this, so I'm assuming this was a very expensive doll.
Probably. And then we hear the doll talk for the first time, and the doll says, my name's Taki Tina, and I love you very much. And Eric, well, you shut that thing off. And Christy cries, and Annabelle, how could you? Already, Eric is definitely a dick. I don't want to be like on his side.
Yeah, exactly.
But
He's an over-the-top kind of caricature dick.
especially when he starts pointing out like his inadequacies and stuff like that. Like no one would really, because like everything is like, you got rid of the doll because we can't have brothers or sisters. Is that it? Like,
Yeah, he definitely jumps to conclusions on a lot of stuff like that in a very annoying way. So, yeah, he's not entirely without fault either, but there are some things where I'm like, okay, I kind of get your point, like, but he's definitely taking a lot of things to the extreme.
for sure. After the girls leave, Eric winds it up, and this is the first time we hear Taki Tina talk to Eric, and Taki Tina says, my name's Taki Tina, and I don't think I like you.
Well, at least she's keeping an open mind.
Right? And then Rod brings us in.
Taki Tina, a doll that does everything. A lifelike creation of plastic and springs and painted smile. To Eric Strater, she is a most unwelcome addition to his household. But without her, he'd never enter Twilight Zone.
Very short Rod intro.
I was just going to say, the last couple episodes, I don't know if maybe it was just like season 1 that he had longer ones, but it does seem like the last few have been very quick, like 3 sentences at most.
I mean, I guess you don't want to give too much away about what you're about to see, and he kind of wants the episode to speak for itself, but then why even have an intro at all? I don't know.
It's at this point, after the first commercial break, we come back, and Eric is winding up the doll again, and this time the doll says, my name's Taki Tina, and I think I could even learn to hate you.
Tina's already starting shit. Like, she doesn't even know this man. She's known him for a few seconds, and you're already, like, telling someone you don't know, I hate you. Like,
She's
that's a bit
starting
strong.
to assert dominance and show that she's the alpha in the house, I suppose. Eric throws this, and I want to keep saying Annabelle because Annabelle's the doll and another thing.
Exactly. Yeah, like, I kept thinking, like, oh, Annabelle's clearly the child or something, or, like, the doll itself, but no, it's Tina.
The mom. But anyway, so Taki Tina says, you'll be sorry. And then the wife comes downstairs, and I'll play a little bit of this because this is the first time that Eric kind of brings up to Annabelle. This thing's got quite a vocabulary on it.
There's quite a vocabulary. Listen.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I love you very much.
Yeah, well, that's not what it said a minute ago.
Eric, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Exactly what is it you're taking, Annabelle?
Your anger toward Christy. I know you're having a difficult time adjusting to her, but I can't let you treat her this way. She's my daughter, Eric. I love her.
I don't understand. From what we've seen, he's not, like, abusive or mean to Christy. He's just upset that they got a doll. And, like, even later, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Christy, and stuff like that.
I think it's kind of implied that before the events of this episode that he's been, like, emotionally aloof to her and just not connecting. Like, they allude to Christy going to, like, a psychiatrist and, like, expressing to psychiatrist that, like, she felt unloved or... So, I mean... We don't really get a whole lot of a sense of what life... It's all kind of alluded to what it was like beforehand, so hard to tell.
Right. After the mom says, I love her, and Eric says, and I can't love her because she's not my own. Is that what you're saying? Which, I don't know. I hate to be on Eric's side, but... I don't know. I find that very hard with this episode.
I'm sure he probably loves her in his own way. Maybe he's just not showing it very well.
Because even the mom's like, I know you got 2 for the price of 1. He knew this going in. It's not like after they got married, he's like, surprise, I have a kid.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, like, their whole relationship dynamics. It seems like they don't get along very well, and, like, obviously there's issues with them not being able to have their own kids, and, like... It's just like, why did you even get married to begin with? It seems like you don't even like each other or are compatible.
Right. Christy comes downstairs, and she's like, sorry, Daddy. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. And he gives her the doll, and then the doll speaks to Christy and says, I love you very much. And next thing you know, we're eating at the dinner table.
Also, can we just talk about how good at gaslighting Talkie Tina is? Like, she's only doing this in front of just Eric, and, like, the minute anyone else is there... She just acts all normal. Like, it's great gaslighting.
It would be the perfect way to make someone seem crazy.
It'd be funny if she said something like, no one will believe you.
They're eating at the dinner table. The doll winks at Eric, and he's like, didn't know it could do that. And they're like, it doesn't, Dad.
Really just making him seem crazy.
And then it's at this point, they bring up the point. Eric brings up the point. He's like, would you just buy it for her because she can't have a brother or sister? Is that it? And that's why you bought it, right? And then the doorbell rings. It's Christy's friend, Linda. So Christy and Annabelle go outside pretty much. And Tina talks once more. And I'll play a little bit of this because Tina is starting to hate Eric. And she lets him know.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
My name is Eric Strader, and I'm going to get rid of you.
You wouldn't dare.
Huh? Wouldn't I?
Annabelle would hate you, Christy would hate you, and I would hate you.
This episode does a very good job at kind of keeping you suspenseful.
Yeah, because you're wondering at this point, like, how is the doll going to hurt him? It seems like it has limited motion. And then right after this scene, we see Eric pull out a little match and then, like, poke it kind of against her nose, and she goes, ooh. And then he kind of responds with, so, you have feelings, to which I love her quip back, doesn't everything?
Right. He's like, so I can hurt you? No, but I can hurt you. That was really good.
Really good dialogue in here. I very quick-witted on both Eric's side and Tina's side.
Annabelle comes in and she's like, well, who are you talking to? Eric's just like, all right, enough. I know it's you. You put walkie-talkies in the doll or whatever, which is probably what you would assume.
I love that they added Eric saying this because most of the time in this show, something crazy and fantastical will happen, and instead of trying to find a logical explanation, people just automatically just be like, oh, yeah, it must be magic. Like, I love that Eric's mind would work to be like, okay, well, logically, a talking doll that thinks for itself doesn't make any sense. Must be a walkie-talkie in here.
Right. And then Christy comes in to get Tina, and Tina's like, my name's Talkie Tina, and I love you very much. And I love this one was good because Christy's like, isn't she so nice, Daddy? After she's just been talking a bunch of shit. And After Christy leaves, Eric still is talking to Annabelle. He's like, I know there's a microphone in here somewhere, so tell me. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Eric. And then I really like this one. And Eric leaves and goes, okay, you'll be sorry, just like the doll said to him. I thought that was really good. Eric goes to the garage. Tina's in there. Eric closes the door, throws Tina in the trash can, and Tina says, you'll be sorry. The next scene, Eric is eating nuts, giggity. Kirsty comes in. Where's Tina, Daddy? And he's like, why don't you go ask your mother? If your mother don't know where it is, I can't help you. And then the girls go and look for it, and then we get a really cool thing. The phone rings, and I'll play a little bit of this. You kind of see it a mile.
Slinging slasher.
You see it coming from a mile away, but it is good suspense, I think.
Yeah, and then after the phone call too, he's wondering like, wait a minute, how would you even call from inside the house?
It's coming from inside the house.
Hello? Hello?
My name is Talking Tina, and I'm going to kill you.
Pretty creepy. Good way to go into commercial. And when we come back from commercial, Eric goes back to the garage to check the trash can, and of course, Tina is not there. He goes to find Annabelle, and he's pretty much is like, you know I put her in the trash. Now enough is enough. A joke is a joke. And Annabelle's like, you put her in the trash? Why would you do such a thing?
The thing keeps threatening to kill me.
Right? Annabelle's pretty much just like, I haven't seen it, I swear. And I do like this because Eric's like, you're serious, aren't you? Like, he starts to like question his own sanity. Like, wait, it might not be you. This might be like something supernatural or something fucky's happening.
Yeah, because at this point, he's like, there's too many weird circumstances, and that's when he kind of puts it together, like, wait a minute, how could Annabelle have called her own house phone from the same house? I don't think that's even something possible, so I like his kind of logic there to try to deduce, okay, well, maybe it is something supernatural.
Right? He's like, what about the phone call? The doll said she was gonna kill me. If it wasn't you, then it must have been Christy. And I like how, like, he's gonna go upstairs, obviously, like, talk to her, but the mom's like, oh my god, he's gonna go up there and beat the shit out of her.
How the hell are you calling me?
He goes to the room, and Tina's in bed with Christy, and
it cannot be comfortable to sleep with a hard plastic doll.
Right. Tina's eyes open, and Tina says, I told you you'd be sorry. Wake up, Christy. Christy, wake up. Eric takes Tina. Tina's obviously very sad, and I felt really bad. I hate seeing kids cry, and she's like, Daddy, please.
Like I'm stealing a doll from a children.
And this was really horrible, but I'm not your daddy.
Yeah, like, he doesn't need to be a dick. Like, I get he's going through some, like, mental anguish because a doll wants to murder him, but, like, there's no reason to be a dick to your daughter. And, again, that's the kind of whole point. He's almost like a straw figure of, like, unrealistically douchiness, but...
Yep. He goes downstairs, and I have right here cool music when he goes downstairs. I'll play a little bit of it. Tell me, it reminded me of Labyrinth so much.
Which song in Labyrinth?
I'm not sure, just like...
Down in the underground?
Nothing of the Bowie stuff, more the score of it. Goblin King, Goblin King! It's more like in the beginning.
See, it kind of makes me think more of like if Mary Poppins was dark and scary. It has this like do like a childlike sounds like the crank of like a Jack in the Box kind of sound, but like eerie and off a little bit somehow.
It's very cool.
Very
I really like the
British
music.
And creepy and I don't know.
British. Yeah, he goes down to the garage. He puts Tina into the vice grips and puts Tina in the vice grips, and he's pretty much just like, I thought you had feelings. And she's like, I can stand it if you can. Gets the torch out. Nitpicky, you can clearly tell he's the one letting go of the torch.
Also, earlier on in the episode, it showed him putting fire right next to her. Like, the match didn't go out, but the torch does. Like, inconsistent, but okay.
Yeah, the torch won't light, so he brings her over to the chop saw, and he still can't cut through her. He's trying like hell. Annabelle comes in. What are you doing? I like this one. I'm doing what I have to. I have to kill this doll. Just seem more fucking crazy.
I mean, at this point, what he should have done was been like, look at how weird this doll is. I can't break it. Like, literally show her, like, here's this buzzsaw. It's not cutting off her head. What the hell? This doll seems to be made out of adamantium.
Right. Yeah, he pretty much pushes Annabelle out. Things got not even a scratch on it, so he ties her up in burlap and puts her in the trash can and puts the blocks
He
on
already
the
knows
lid.
that putting it in the trash can is not going to work. And if it can withstand a buzzsaw and a torch and all this other stuff, like what makes him think that putting it in the trash can again is going to be what works?
So then he goes upstairs. Annabelle's up there. She's packing. Eric's like,
good call on her.
Come
end,
on,
too.
why are you leaving? He's like, I had to do it to the doll. And then I'll play a little bit of this because he's just pretty much the easy way. If I say sorry, what you guys say?
What are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing?
But why?
How could I live with you after what you've done?
I had to. The doll.
You had to show your hatred for me and for Christy.
Now look, Annabelle. That doll talked to me. That doll said things no doll should say.
You better see a good psychiatrist.
Like, the doll said stuff that no doll should say. Stick a finger in my ass.
I was thinking literally the exact same thing. I was like, oh, what if this was what the doll would say?
Perfect.
But yeah, Annabelle starts packing up and leaving, and she should have done this a long time ago from the sounds of it.
Right. And then Eric pretty much says after that, if I say I'm sorry and give it back, will that make it better? And she's like, yes. So Eric goes in and gives Tina to Christy. Or no, I'm retarded. Eric goes down to get Tina, and she is still in the trash can. And this time Tina says, I don't forgive you. Eric goes upstairs. Very cool music again. And he gives the doll back to Christy. And then in the next shot, it's night. They're sleeping in separate beds.
Separate beds, the classic 1950s move.
You kind of hear the winding of the doll. What would you call that sound? Like the
key
humming of it.
Yeah, like the key turning in her back.
So Eric gets up. He goes and checks in Christy's room first, and it's not in there. So he's like, what the hell? So he starts going downstairs, but as he goes to step down the first step, he steps on Talkie Tina.
How the hell did he not see it? Like, I get that it's night and it's dark, but you still, like, look at the stairs that you're going to step down. Like, you're not, like, blindly walking down a flight of stairs.
Right? And then Eric eats major shit. Really good stunt down there. It looked like someone actually falling down the stairs.
Maybe they made the stairs soft. I don't know.
Have you ever fallen down the stairs? Would suck. I think I did it once. When I had crutches, I ate shit going down into the basement stairs.
I remember that. That sounded so freaking loud. Everyone got up and was like, what the hell?
Have you ever fallen down the stairs?
I mean, at most, it would be like an outdoor set of stairs where it's like a step or two. Like, if it's
not
icy.
like a dozen.
Yeah, it's not like an entire flight of stairs from one floor to the next.
I'm terrified of it every time I go downstairs.
There's this great, it's not Philomena Kunk, but it's the same actress. And there's a scene where she's like working at this factory and she slips down, you know, like those more like factory type stairs, like it's kind of like not a full spiral, but like there's like a landing every 10 steps or so. She's like falling down it for an inordinate amount of time. Like every time she gets to a landing, she just like trips again and like keeps falling down in the circle. And it's just so funny.
Everything of hers is pretty awesome.
She's a great comedian.
So then as Eric falls down the stairs, the doll comes a-tumbling after, and pretty much they're face to face, and Eric's last sight that he sees is Talkie Tina. So Tina got her revenge. Annabelle runs down the stairs, Eric, Eric! And it's at this point that Tina talks to someone else. So like you said earlier, we know that it's not just in Eric's mind. And she says, my name's Talkie Tina, and you better be nice to me. And then Rod takes us out.
Of course, we all know dolls can't really talk. And they certainly can't commit murder. But to a child caught in the middle of turmoil and conflict, a doll can become many things. Friend, defender, guardian. Especially a doll like Talkie Tina, who did talk and did commit murder in the misty region of the Twilight Zone.
I like the Rod. He's just like, we all know dolls can't talk, but this doll talked.
We all know the dolls can't talk. Do we all know that?
I don't think we do. Eric definitely doesn't know that. All right, and that was our episode. Tyler, what did you learn?
Never walk down a flight of stairs in the dark.
Nope. All right, we'll jump right into ratings. IMDb currently has this at an 8.7. Obviously, this is in the top 8 rated Twilight Zone episodes, as we have alluded to earlier. Do you want to try it at the same time, or?
I don't think we're gonna. I don't.
You don't
know.
think so? You think I liked it more?
I think you might have liked it more.
All right, you want to go first then?
All right. I'm giving this a 7.5. It's definitely a creepy, eerie vibe, but a bit sad and depressing for me, and a little unclear why Eric's such an asshole. But it's a very memorable episode for sure, and a classic. So 7.5.
All right, I'm glad you went first because I'm giving this an 8.5.
Nice.
This is a very good episode. It's definitely top tier Twilight Zone. Obviously, there's quite a few that I'm going to like more than this, but this is definitely, there's a reason why this is always in top 10 videos and all that.
Who are they? Where are they? What are they? Let's find out together in the Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, so this week we have Telly Savalas. He played Eric Stroder. Have you ever seen the show Kojak?
No.
I'm guessing you've heard of it.
Sounds familiar, but I'm not.
He plays Kojak. He was in 117 episodes of Kojak and a few TV series.
Is it like a
detective type
thing? Okay.
He also played the Cheshire Cat in the 1985 Alice in Wonderland miniseries. He was in a bunch of TV shows from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And like I said, he did a little bit of stuff in the 90s, but he died in the early 90s. Then we have Mary LaRoche. She played Annabelle. She was in 2 Twilight Zone episodes. She was in this, and she was in A World of His Own. She was the love interest that our main character created in his mind or through his story there.
That the last episode of season 1?
Yes.
That one? Okay.
And it played Doris in Bye Bye Birdie. I've never seen Bye Bye Birdie.
I've heard the name Bye Bye Birdie before, but never seen it.
We got Tracy Stratford. She played Christy. She was in 2 Twilight Zone episodes, and now we have completed them. Do you know what else she's in?
Yes, the other one was Little Girl Lost.
Yeah, she played the particular, or what is the word I'm looking for?
The Lost Child?
Yeah, but I was trying to be a little bit more Rod Serling-y.
The main
the
character?
Proverbial little girl that was lost.
Okay.
Trying to spice it up.
Big
Swing
words.
and a miss.
I'm going to buy you a thesaurus for Christmas.
Thank you. Yeah, so she was in those 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone. She wasn't in much. Obviously, she's still alive. Well, I mean, it's not obvious.
I don't know. This was in the 60s. Who the hell knows?
She was born in like 55, but she's still alive. Her last credit to her name was in 1969, so she only did stuff as a child. And then we have June Foray. Can you guess who she played?
Must have been the voice of Talking Tina. I was going through my head. I was like, why the hell is there a 4th character?
Yep. She is an incredibly legendary voice actress. She has 381 credits to her name. Pretty much all voice work. She was the voice of Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I thought you were going to say Rocky, like,
hey, Adrian. Yeah,
like,
she
what?
did all the...
She voiced over Sylvester Stallone. Okay.
She did. And she did the voice of Rocky from the 50s until 2014.
Was Rocky the squirrel or the moose?
The squirrel.
Okay.
She played the grandmother in Mulan. She does the voice of the grandmother.
Nice. So she must still kind of be alive. Is she alive?
No, she died in like 2016 or 17. I think she lived to be 99. She was very old. She did the voice of Granny and all the Looney Tunes things.
Yep.
The Tweety Birds.
Tweety Birds
thing.
Owner.
Yep. She was in 1 episode of The Simpsons. The very last episode of season 1, the One Enchanted Evening, when they have the babysitter bandit.
Does she play the voice of the bandit?
No, she has a very small role. She plays the woman at the babysitter service. She goes, "Rubber baby Becky bumpers," and then Homer calls and she hangs up on him, and then she calls back, and Homer's like, "No, I said Samson, not Simpson." It's such a fucking funny gag. She was in 155 episodes of The Smurfs. She played the voice of Cindy Lou Who in the 1966 How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Look, she did a shit ton. And she lended her voice to 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone. Obviously this and the last episode, the Bewitchin' Pool. Do you know the story behind that?
I don't even remember there being a voice in that episode. Does the pool talk to the kids and tell them to jump in?
No, they had to do ADR over the little girl, the sister. for all the shots that are outside, there was something wrong with like the audio mic or something, and they couldn't get the child actress to come back to re-record her lines. So for half of the lines, it's like clearly like it sounds like Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle, and it sounds so off.
Oh,
another thing that just makes that episode even creepier.
It's been such a long time since I watched that episode. I don't even remember that being like a part of it.
Eventually, when we watch it, you're gonna have to pay attention to that because it's so jarring. Like you could tell there's something off when she's talking.
So it was just her audio that didn't get picked up. The boys was
for some reason, and it's only outside shots when they're outside, and it sounds very funny.
That is very odd.
And June Foray, the woman who did the voice of Talkie Tina, actually did the voice for Chatty Cathy, the doll that inspired Talkie Tina.
Oh, I didn't know there was an inspiration for it.
There was actually it was called Chatty Cathy, and that was the doll that was pretty much the same thing in real life.
Yep.
And it's just funny that she did the voice for it, too. In total, this episode cost $53,519. Pretty average. The director received $1,500, that's pretty much par for season 5, and the cast received $6,512.
You know what I'm thinking? This would be a great episode for us to reshoot. Like, it would not take much. There's 3 main actors, and it all takes place in a house.
This definitely would put it up on the board for potential ones to remake.
What'd you say your name was?
What's in a name, Mr. Benninger, really? A mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
So every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles to the episodes we are watching. This week, I have 3.
I only have 4.
Only have 4. All right, you want to go first then?
All right, start with my debacle.
I wonder if it's going to be the same.
The doll debacle.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I have You'll Be Sorry.
I have Talkie Tina.
I have Play Nice.
She Walks, She Talks, She Kills.
Pretty good.
And my last one, Christie's doll kills them all.
Yeah. It technically only killed one person.
Yeah, but it's implied that she might kill Annabelle too, so.
What about switcheroos? I could only come up with 1.
I have 4.
I have The Gift.
I had The Gift. I also have The Dummy, A Thing About Machines, and Judgment Night.
Pretty good. All good ones.
Yeah. You are now about to penetrate the Twilight Zone.
So every now and again, if we have a porno parody title name that is worthy, or what we consider worthy, we will put it in there. I have one. Do you have any this week?
I don't have one, but I could probably come up with one on the spot.
Instead of Living Doll, I came up with Vibrating Doll.
Yeah? You could have Living Sex Doll.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, it may be better, it may be worse. The Twilight Zone did it first.
All right, well, where this is such a famous episode, of course, there are tons of references to it throughout pop culture. Starting us off, 1992, Simpsons Treehouse of Horror #3 with the evil Krusty doll, I'm sure.
One of my favorite lines, Homer, when he finally tells Marge, he goes, Marge, the doll's trying to kill me and the toaster's been laughing at me.
Why the toaster's laughing at it? That wasn't even a part of the episode. It's just
it's
like
just
a
funny throw-in line to make him
seem even crazier.
Yeah.
And then we also got a 1986 movie called Alien Predator. Again, not to be confused with Alien vs. Predator. This is a completely unrelated movie called Alien Predator.
Does it have anything to do with Kramer versus Kramer?
No. Oh. So there's a little Indian girl's doll is named Talkie Tina in it, and the director of this movie is the son of the director of this episode. So little, maybe a reference nod to his dad's work. So then there's also the 1988 and 1990 Child's Play and Child's Play 2. You know, the one with Chucky the doll.
I think I've seen like the first couple ones, but have you seen all of those?
I haven't seen any of them.
The first 2, like they want it to be like slasher horror, but then it just becomes super fun. They're actually comical. Like The Seed of Chucky and The Bride of Chucky are like really funny movies.
Interesting. And then what else we got here? Then there's the 2002 episode of Beyond Belief. Remember that show, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction? There was a segment called Battered Doll, which kind of drew inspiration from this.
Battered women's shelter. Just reminds me of an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm when the house next to Larry, a battered women's shelter, buys it. And Larry does Larry things. It's awesome.
I need to watch that show.
There's like a big, strong woman, and he's just can't wrap his head around it. He's like, who the hell would beat her up? No one could beat... Guys couldn't beat her up. And obviously he asks and stuff, too. He's very inappropriate. Have you ever seen Curb?
I've tried it. Like, I don't know. Some shows, like the earlier seasons, are just hard to get into. And I know, like, you kind of got to sludge through the earlier seasons where they're trying to find their footing. But it's also one of those, like, it's so cringy to watch. Like, it's almost hard to watch cringe shows like that.
It gives me anxiety. Larry puts himself into situations like, why the fuck would you do that, Larry? Just let it go.
Yeah, some shows are just so cringy. Then there's also the 2004 movie The Terminal, where Frank Dixon asks Victoria Navorsky if she's ever seen the Twilight Zone, and then he prattles off about the show and mentions Talkie Tina in it. And then there's the 2019 movie Toy Story 4. I'm sure you've probably seen that, where they have Gabby Gabby is based off of Talkie Tina, obviously.
Yep. I think Christina Hendricks does her voice. The girl who plays Joan in Mad Men.
Ah, cool. And then 1997 episode of Johnny Bravo called Little Talkie Tabitha.
This is our second Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo, the creators of that show, or the writers of that show, must have liked the Twilight Zone.
Because I think it was, and it was funny because it was our 25th.
Yeah, the other one was 25th because they had the whole
cornfield.
Getting sent to the cornfield. And then there's also the 1998 episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch called Goodwill Haunting that features an evil doll named Molly Dolly that tries to kill Sabrina. And then also, as we mentioned earlier, Annabelle from is it the Annabelle series or what would you call that?
Started from the damn it, I love these movies.
The Hauntings.
The Conjuring universe.
Yeah. So the Conjuring universe obviously has the Annabelle doll, which in the first movie I think is just very lightly mentioned, and then Annabelle gets her own movie.
Yep. The first Annabelle movie sucks, but Annabelle comes home when like everything in the Warrens' basement is because the Warrens are like a couple that take all kinds of like haunted artifacts and keep them safely in their house. And one night while they're out to dinner or whatever, they get a babysitter and they unleash all those things. Ooh. It's fucking awesome. Very good movie.
Yeah.
If you like horror.
So that is all the references. There's, like I said, a lot of them this time where it's such a popular episode.
Yep. All right, so every week Tyler picks the episodes, and he does so by showing me an AI-generated picture. I play a little game where I have to guess what it is. Now, I'm completely kind of in the dark now. I think it could be anything.
It could.
Probably not going to be season 5, but... Are we ready for season 4? Was Parallel our last season 4? There's no way, was it? It was, wasn't it?
Maybe.
It's been a long time since a season 4. It could even be season 4, so... I'm kind of hoping for a season 4, maybe. Let's see. What do we got?
All right. Here is your picture.
Is it the 30 Fathom Grave?
No.
Judgment Night?
Correct, Judgment Night.
All right.
You got it wrong.
I almost died for a second there. I am not looking forward to 30 Fathom Grave. All right,
is that season 4?
It's the second episode of season 4. It's so long. That's season 1, I believe.
Correct. Judgment Night, season 1.
This is a very forgettable episode from what I can remember.
I did not remember it at all until I rewatched it, and then even parts of the episode came back to me, but then other parts are like, I don't remember this happening at all.
Spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen it, I'm about to tell Tyler what I believe the ending is. He's like on the ship that he's about to blow up, right? So he sees it from the enemy's point of view.
His eternal hell is that he is in the position of his victims that he killed.
Okay. All right, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys could please continue to like and subscribe on the YouTube page, it would mean a lot to us. Thank you, everyone who's listening. It really does mean a lot. I mean, just over almost a year now, and to even have 77 subscribers on YouTube feels pretty good. I'm very happy about.
It is awesome. Thank you all so much for all the support and tuning in and listening every week, and we just really appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, definitely leave some comments down below if you guys want to play along with a new name segment, or if you want to give me your answer to my final question that I give Tyler, something like that. That would always be fun. It's fun to hear from you guys and
interact
have a little
with
community
you
here.
Yeah.
If you could also, if you're listening on Spotify, give it a 5-star review. That would mean a lot.
We are a 5-star show.
We sure are. And I don't know if you can comment on there. I think on some things you can, but either way, show some love to us, guys. It would mean the world to us. And if you need to get a hold of us for any other reason, you can email us at twilightgnome59@gmail.com. Still empty?
Still empty.
Crickets.
Checked again today.
All
you should
right.
just send an email to it just so I can check that it actually receives emails at this point.
Right? All right. Well, until then, Tyler, next week, Judgment Night. My final question for you: have you ever been afraid of a toy that isn't the Scooby-Doo blanket? Or the Tickle Me Elmo?
I was going to say, was it an Elmo? I thought it was an Ernie.
No, it was, Ernie or Elmo. And you were afraid of your Poe doll from the
Yes,
Teletubbies.
there's 3 things I was
You were
afraid
afraid of a lot of fucking toys.
I was a really scared child. So there was the Scooby-Doo blanket that I had a nightmare about moving around on its own. There was the Poe doll that I think someone got me, and then Aunt Vicky apparently got me a Ernie doll or a Bert. Was it which one?
I think it was Ernie.
Yeah, and then apparently I was really afraid of that too.
Nothing else?
Those are the 3 that come to mind.
I don't think I've ever been afraid of I mean, obviously I've seen old dolls that like grandparents or like family members, grandparents, stuff like that, and be like, oh, that's fucking creepy. I wouldn't want that in my house, but never to the point where I'm like, fuck that thing.
You're like, get it out of here, get it out of here.
All right. Well, Tyler, 50 episodes. Well, we got 2 more episodes, and it's our year-end review.
Yeah, episode 52 is going to be a special episode as well because it marks our 1-year review, and me and Alex are going to re-rate any episodes we feel we may have misjudged, either because we gave them too high of a score or too low of a score. So that will be coming in episode 52.
Yeah, I also thought of another thing right before we started recording we should add on there. I think, you know how we do our questions at the beginning for each other?
Yeah.
We should do a, year questions, over the last 52 episodes, pull, from what was so-and-so's name from this episode or something like that. See how well you remember the last year.
I thought you meant, the questions at the end that you ask me. I'm like, well, we would have already answered them. I don't think our answers are going to change.
Good trivia. See how good your memory of the last 52 episodes is.
That's a good idea. I like that. All right.
Do that. All right, but until then, Ty, do you have anything to say to our dear, dear listeners?
Yes, thank you all for stepping in the Twilight Gnome with us.
It's 4 o'clock, the howling man is gone.